Hi there. If you look at the super investor from dataroma.com, you can see that many of them have sold Alibaba. Especially if you look at here, Michael Burry sold 100% of Alibaba shares. And when you see something like this, you might wonder if you also have to sell Alibaba stock. Now, before making any decision like this, selling or buying, you have to understand one thing. When you look at those super investors, yes, it's a good source of finding investment ideas. But you also have to be aware of two things: when they buy and when they sell. And let me explain. When they buy, it's a good indicator. They buy a stock because they see some value. That price is undervalued, or they see a future potential for that company. Then, when they sell, they have a lot of reasons to sell. It's not because that company is overvalued, is not good. Maybe because they sell, they want to move to other assets. Maybe they sell to make a quick profit. For instance, let me give you an example. Michael Burry. Let's look at his portfolio. Now for the moment, he has only one stock. Estee Lauder. By the way, I also analyze this company on my platform, research platform. If you want access to it, you can join my membership and I'll give you the report. Then, if you look at his activity, in Q1, he sold all his stocks. You might say that he sold all Chinese stocks. Baba, Baidu, JD, Pinduoduo. But he also sold American companies. Healthcare, VF Corporation, America Coastal Insurance, and other companies. So he sold his positions not because Alibaba is a bad company. No, he sold because maybe he wants something else. Maybe he is afraid of the market, the S&P 500, its highest peak, almost, and he assumes a market crash. That may happen. You never know. And of course, if we have a decline in the S&P 500, for sure, also Alibaba and all stocks around the world will go down. So if you want to time the market to predict when the next crash, big crash will happen, you can follow his strategy. But again, we don't know for sure why he sold all his stocks, almost, and kept only one stock. We don't know that. That's why, as I said at the beginning, when you look at super investors, don't get biased. Always analyze the company you want to buy and sell. Because if you don't understand, for instance, in this case, Alibaba, why the stock price was down, why the stock price was undervalued, and when it's overvalued, then you don't know how to buy and sell, take advantage of this company. Because yes, you see Michael Burry buys Alibaba in the past, right? He added 29% in Q3 2024. But then, you see he started to reduce his position. And then he sold it entirely. Then you wonder, when should I sell? When he does the same thing? No, that's not the right answer. You have to sell when the stock price is overvalued or the business has declined. Their fundamentals have declined and there is no future for Alibaba. That's the moment when you have to sell. That's why if you don't understand the business, don't get in. Based on my analysis, Alibaba still has potential. From this level, can deliver a nice return, especially for the next quarters. Be aware of this. But again, if you want a strategy to time the market, get out of all stocks, or if you are that type of investor who prefers to make a quick profit, then yes, if you bought here, when I said in my past videos, buy Alibaba, $76, yes, you could sell here, or here, in the past, 92%. If you want that quick profit. But, if you want an investment, a long-term investment, then this is not the right strategy to follow. So it's up to you. If you want quick profits, yes, you can sell Alibaba. But then tell me, can you find a better investment idea? Do you have another undervalued company to put your money to work for you? If the answer is yes, you can sell Alibaba and go to that company. But of course, you also have to look at the risk and the reward, and then compare the return you can get from that investment. And if it's better than Alibaba, then go to that investment. If not, stay here. Or if you prefer to eliminate your risk, sell everything. That's why it's quite important to know when to sell and when to buy. Now, if you look at the other super investors, they also reduce their positions. This is a good strategy to follow if you want to have less exposure to China. And you can also see another super investor who increased his position by over 1000%. So he sees some value there. That's why my advice to you is don't get biased by what others do, but do your own research, your own analysis. And then if you understand why the price went up and what's next, what will be in the future, then you can easily take advantage of Alibaba stock or any stock. Any stock. Because if you look at their latest results, yes, they miss the expectations, analyst expectations, but if you look at their businesses, they have improved quite a lot. Quite a lot. And they are expected to grow more in the future, more in the next quarters. And I don't think it's the right time to sell this company right now, especially right now when they are growing. Of course, if you saw low growth rate, flat in the revenue, yes, you could have sold this company. Take the profit and find other investment. But now, I don't think it's the case. So, you also look at their profits. They have improved quite a lot. Plus, they also increased their dividend, reduced the number of employees, and their business is doing quite great. Now, if you want to know the fair value of this company, when to sell, and when to buy especially, or if you want to find better investment ideas, then you can join my membership. Go to my profile, press join, and then choose the level you want. In this case, for my portfolio, if you want only access to my portfolio plus investing course, you can join my Titan Investor. And if you want more, you can also have an exclusive 1-hour coaching call with me, where you can ask me anything you want about investing. And of course, by joining a higher level, you have access to the previous levels. So that's it for this video. And if you have other questions, please let me know in the comments.